Joe Kessler, the strongest character in The Boys and the main villain of Season 4 and 5. The strongest characters in The Boys were Soldier Boy and Homelander. However, in Season 4, the company hierarchy changed. Soldier Boy became a sleeping beauty, and Homelander became a complete degenerate. The characters regressed and the main antagonist of The Boys became Joe Kessler, a conscious parasite living inside Billy Butcher. He's possibly the coolest character in Season 4, played by the incredible Negan, and the father of the Winchester brothers. The multiverse has reached The Boys. The 6th episode is out, and it's clear that Kessler will control Butcher and the virus by the season's end, becoming the main antagonist and the most powerful force in Season 5. Today we'll look at his backstory, abilities, and future role in the plot. We're drawn to characters who don't hesitate to take responsibility, acting decisively, tough, and effective, even if it means breaking morals and social norms. In the first season, Butcher is presented as a ruthless anti-hero, willing to do whatever it takes to destroy the set, even if it means breaking the law and causing collateral damage. However, as the series progresses, he becomes a more complex and ambiguous character. Joe Kessler, the embodiment of Butcher's dark side, adds complexity. Kessler, a creation of Butcher's mind, mirrors his conflict. He represents the rage, hatred, and thirst for revenge haunting Butcher. Butcher is the only one who can see and hear him, highlighting this internal struggle. In contrast to Kessler, Becca, Butcher's ex-wife, represents the compassion and humanity left in his heart. She symbolizes loss, the pain and love that torment him, contrasting with the anger and hatred Kessler embodies. Kessler and Becca represent opposite sides of Butcher's personality. They influence his life, shaping his decisions and actions. The dynamic between these three makes Butcher a fascinating and complex anti-hero, making him one of the most memorable characters in the series. The real Joe Kessler was a CIA agent and a soldier who fought against Butcher during the battle in the Panxir Valley. Billy left him for dead. Years later, as a side effect of using 2 variations of the drug V, Butcher began to hallucinate. We later discover that inside him is a conscious parasite, which is nothing more than a mutated tumor in Butcher's brain. The parasite not only causes hallucinations to manipulate Billy, but also grants him superpowers. In the fight scene with Ezekiel, when Butcher loses consciousness, the parasite saves him, tearing his opponent to pieces with its tentacles. Also, in the scene with John, the parasite knew that Homelander could see people's insides, so he hid his presence in Butcher's body. That's why the leader of the Seven could only see an ordinary tumor on Butcher's head. What else is the parasite capable of, apart from deadly tentacles strong enough to rip superheroes to shreds? Well, in the animated series, they showed us what happens when Compound V interacts with cancer. In the 7th episode, a woman called Sun Hee is dying of cancer. Her husband gives her Compound V. The consequences are terrible. Sun Hee's cancer mutates, becoming a conscious creature that continues to mutate until it becomes a horrible, ever-expanding monster, strong enough to defeat Homeland and Soldier Boy. Or so, it seems. Sun Hee's cancer shows that it can absorb living and non-living objects, increasing in size and level of strength. It can form glowing tentacles, react to bullets by pushing them into its body, fly, possess immense physical strength, endurance, and speed. These parasites are, obviously, the strongest characters in The Boys universe, and it makes sense, because the Vault will never stop their development. The Compound V opened Pandora's box, and now it's only a matter of time before an entity more powerful than the Parasite or the Homelander appears. Our planet in The Boys universe is doomed. People will never stop experimenting. That's human nature. So will Butcher's cancer also escape him at the end of the season like it did with Sun Hee? Not necessarily. V almost always acts differently, making someone a god, someone a monster, and someone just a clown. Now we know that the mixture of 2 variations of V and Butcher's tumor has created a conscious mutation that can blow superheroes to bits. What's more, in Episode 6, we discover that the most effective way to wipe out Homelander is to perfect the mom virus that can destroy superheroes. However, to strengthen the virus, you'll have to make it unstable and very contagious. All the world's superheroes will die, and that means thousands of lives. To put an end to Homelander, you'll have to kill all the superheroes. Will Butcher risk it? Obviously, yes. Kessler, as a physical manifestation of the dark side of Butcher's personality, is pushing Billy to kill all the superheroes. We discover that Joe hates superheroes even more than Butcher, and that Kessler is a living son. The boy will probably be used in the next season. It's worth noting that in the Marvel Universe, symbiotes amplify the emotions of their bearers, often adapting to their deepest desires. It's as if the symbiote becomes a distorted mirror of the individual's psyche, reflecting and intensifying their fears, rages, and desires. In the case of the Carnage symbiote, its link with Cletus Kasady, a ruthless psychopath, transformed it into a cruel and bloodthirsty entity. Kasady's deep aversion to superheroes, fueled by hatred and revenge, was absorbed and amplified by the symbiote, making it an uncontrollable threat. Similarly, the parasite that attaches itself to Billy Butcher seems to be amplifying his anger and determination. Kessler tells Billy to not hesitate, and with the phrase, "Daddy's home," referring to the same thing Billy said to Hugh in Season 2, reflects the promise of revenge that he carries, and which is now intensified by the parasite. Kessler, who is manipulating Butcher to perfect the virus, feeds this anger, and Billy's thirst for revenge, urging him to ignore the consequences of his actions. The promise of power and the promise of justice distorted by the parasite's influence make Butcher blind to the potential for destruction that the virus carries. If Butcher really perfects the virus, he will unleash a catastrophe, taking thousands of innocent lives. Yes, it's difficult, but when it comes to survival, morality, ethics, decency, and other childish things can be put aside. After all, that's what humans have done throughout history. As Heraclitus said, struggle is the basis of everything. Tony Stark, the great Marvel hero, made difficult choices. Even if it meant killing people, creating villains like Tron, and risking the lives of trillions. He was tough and decisive, and that's why we admire him. Just like the boys, who kick Butcher off the team but bring him back when they need a leader to make tough decisions. In the end, Billy once again becomes the Butcher we knew from the first season. Tough, smart, and cynical. And now, with the power of the parasite. I can say that Keyser is absolutely right. The interspecies war between humans and superheroes was inevitable, and this war always seeks destruction. It's a scientific fact about which dozens of books have been written. So, whether you like it or not, you'll have to get your hands dirty if you don't want to die like Charles Xavier's mutants in Season 5. In Season 5, Butcher could become the savior of humanity and a true hero. Writers are steering the series towards the comic book storyline. There, the vigilante wanted to kill all superheroes, and Homelander wanted to control the country. The series is aligning more with the original plot. Whether it's good or bad, only time will tell. Continuing from the start of the video, Butcher, under Kessler's control, is now the most powerful force in The Boys. Think about it. Soldier Boy is off-screen, and John is a victim of politics. The character is focused on breasts. Homelander no longer inspires fear or respect. He is now a coward, insignificant and miserable. His abilities like super hearing, supervision, and speed are useless, and his actions are ridiculous and terrible. Let us know in the comments if you agree with Kessler. What do you expect from the 5th season? Were you disappointed with the 4th season? Thanks for watching.